It's part 2 of getting bit perfect out of your iPad to a DAC, and we're looking at 24-bit this time in 44.1. We're going to do some null tests, and we're going to add a couple of little spaceships, and we're going to do a flyby. So that was the intro. It's pretty cool. Roll the clips. So we're going to do another null test, but now with 24-bit 44.1 tracks. And the main problem is finding a track that is in 24-bit 44.1 on all of the services. So for instance, this one is 24-bit. In Qobuz, they reference 44.1 high res, and that means 24-bit instead of 16-bit. Apple, you have to press this little icon here to go further, and it'll tell you the bit depth and sample rate. And in Tidal, it just says it straight up down the bottom there, 24-bit. It's a little bit squashed because I have this iPad set into quarters. And the thing is, Spotify will tell you that you have to press the green button, and then you have to press further in. And this one is in 16-bit. Other tracks will show up in 24, so that is how you find out in Spotify. So that track is a fail. And if you want to go to the end and find out which services are bit perfect and don't contain any junk, just go to the end and there'll be a timestamp for that. But keep watching, we'll find a track that suits our needs. Okay, so here's the track we found that's 24-bit 44.1 in all the services. It's interesting that even some songs, like this song here, a very famous track, is only 16-bit in Tidal, and yet 24-bit in Spotify, Qobuz, and Apple. And it's also in Dolby Atmos in this one and not the others, and so many things. So that was the thing I was saying, when you're compromising on choosing a service if they're forcing a lot of content lower than you could get elsewhere. And so for that, I still go back to Qobuz all the time. So here's a quick verification of the 24-bit in Spotify. It says it's in 24-bit, so that's good. Qobuz says high res, 24-bit. Apple, 24-bit. Oh, there it is again. And Tidal, so right in there, really tiny, 24-bit. 24-bit. Moving right along to the capturing stage. So now I'm going to do the capture. I have this plugin as the first in the input chain with no gain reduction into a 32-bit float, so it can capture the full 24 bits. Here we go. Spotify. And for me, so I've got something to line up. Qobuz does that little thing where it plays where it was just before it plays again. It's really annoying. But all I need is the drum hit to get the null. Apple. And then we'll get that file and line them up. Yes, that was the first thing we did. Line all of the tracks up from our bit perfect, or hopefully bit perfect capture from the iPad. SPDIF output into a new project here in Ableton, and lined up all the waveforms from a far view. Then we kept zooming in and lining them in all the time until we finally get to everything close enough that I can look at the Qobuz wave file and say that it's slightly ahead. And that's all I need to do to start with. So just this point here, that point here on the Qobuz is just like a 5-6 samples ahead, and that's all it has to be, because we can add 5 or 6 samples to any track, or whatever the number is. And then I just quickly checked that they're all playing 24-bit. Spotify is playing 24-bit, so that was captured in a 32-bit float file, so it's nice and clean, showing that the bits are there. And here the Qobuz is 24 bits, and Apple 24, and Tidal 24. Now the reason we're doing this null test is because if Apple is still playing that 24th bit dither, it won't null with the Qobuz file, and it will leave a difference. And same with Apple or Tidal or whichever one it may be. So that's what we're testing. Let's get on with the nulls. So I have the Qobuz track playing inverse polarity, Spotify track slightly ahead normal polarity, and I'm just going to add samples to the Spotify track. So up to 3, and you can see the size of that stack is now not quite at 0, so it's getting quieter, but it's still showing 24 bits as they blend together. And now they're getting very quiet. As you can see, 7 samples has made it almost disappear. 8 samples has fully disappeared. So that's Spotify 24-bit null test. It is fully lossless. Bit perfect. Now we're checking Apple lossless, adding 1 sample, 2, 3, it's getting quieter, 4, it's getting quieter, but you can see on the 24th bit there, it's not getting quiet. So the music has now nulled out, and what we are left with is Apple's added dither. So Apple, I knew this from previous tests, that it puts the dither in all signals, and it is not bit perfect. And last but not least, we're checking Tidal's bit perfectness for 24-bit. Adding a sample to the inverse Qobuz. It's getting quiet there. Ooh, jump down again, and again, quieter, almost gone. The signal is gone, and there is this one tiny little sound in Tidal's dither. These, for some reason, they use a dither as well, but yeah, so it's down here. This is the noise floor of Tidal's dither. So here we go, under 174 with a little knob at about 167, 166, and I'll show you the difference between that and the Apple dither that's left over. Below 168 with a nub at 155. So you can see that for yourself on the screen. Let's turn off Apple again. Let's turn on Tidal's noise. So it's a whatever that difference is, you can see there between the lines. So 6 dB difference in their chosen dither amounts.
That leaves us with Qobuz, and if it nulls with itself or a bit perfect Studio Master, it is 100% bit perfect. So here's the celebration. Good on you, Qobuz. Now where does that leave us? So we determined that Spotify's 24-bit offerings in 44.1 kilohertz are bit perfect, Qobuz as well. Apple Music not so much, with a quiet dither, and Tidal with a even quieter dither. Debatable as to whether people can hear all those things, but I don't like it. It's not pure and it's not bit perfect. We'll probably get back to you on another video. I've been doing some investigations on Universal Player Pro on Android and a few other things. So until next time, enjoy some kittens. Pretty cool. Catch you later.